Stanford, I think there's this really special blend of intellectualism and irreverence. Don't let that fool you. Don't let that make you think we're not taking things seriously in terms of our pursuit and our dedication. Under this California sunshine, you can't help but have a good time.
I think I'm taking organic chemistry.
Everything is available here. There's so many resources that you can use and so much that's there for you.
To make the math work, I need to isolate each point, pull them from the web of lost souls, strip them to the bare bones, take the absolute value as though they can be without
I want you to produce so much power that it rips your hands back with you, okay? All right, here we go, 5 per side.
I came in already with theater as a big interest, but I thought I was going to pursue something more, academic and serious, which is actually how I kind of ended up studying philosophy. It's a great subject to be studying, but I naturally found myself being pulled back towards theater.
Alistair, can you actually be the one who brings this in?
I think theater's a wonderful medium for getting a story out, getting a message across.
What if you had to choose between a fat white girl and a skinny Asian girl?
My play focuses on an Asian American family and kind of the contemporary problems that they face, which I feel has never been explored on stage. Problems such as what it means to be gay and Asian, parental pressures in Asian households, and just what it means to be an Asian in the United States.
So very cool stuff. So it sort of suddenly infused this universe with chemistry. The value of me teaching over here is not just that I get energized by the students because they are just fabulous, but also some of the students end up coming back with me to NASA, working in my lab, because we at NASA need the next generation. We need the people who are going to be the best and brightest and go out and explore the universe with us.
Dive into a little more. So you're trying to organize the campaign for city council. What are some major goals in there? I guess getting elected.
Increase voter turnout significantly.
I'm like a serial planner, so I kind of plan out everything in my life. And I tried basically mind mapping myself. That's me in the center. And then what I did was I went over different kind of aspects of myself, my belief system. I wrote a blog post about this earlier in the year, an open source life. And essentially what I did was I took all of the action steps that it was going to take and I put them online. So the goal is share everything so that I have social pressure to live in a way that can be entirely transparent. I did this program called the Lightspeed Ventures Fellowship. If you have an idea for a company, they basically give you free office space and $45,000 to run with for the summer. One of my professors who I knew, we convinced him of the idea was great, and then he got us into the program. We're going to implement the rest of the platform. I'm interested in social entrepreneurs, so essentially finding entrepreneurial and technological solutions to student problems. And I see student government as a platform for do that. We give out over $2.5 million every year to student groups. What kind of work?
Ball through the hoops. Hoops up!
I mean, Stanford doesn't have as kind of long and storied a tradition as some other schools. One of the things that means is that there's kind of an open field and people can really do things that are different, the things that they might not, feel like they've been told not to do.
When I got here, it was very much, the culture was very much take a step back
and kind of pursue what you, like, only do what you want to do.
They said to me, you know, what do you like? And I said, you know, I really like computers. At the same time, I like learning about politics and history. And they said, well, you can take that. That's perfectly fine. We'll shape your major in a way that fits your interests.
This past summer was spent volunteering at a health clinic in Honduras, where I was really able to use my knowledge of Spanish, but also everything I'd learned in human biology.
¿Cómo está? Bien, muy bien. Entonces me llamo Karen, soy estudiante y estoy trabajando.
The very same freshman who was afraid to even attend convocation, a year later had the courage to strike up a conversation with this prominent Stanford alum. A conversation that ended with an internship in the White House.
So what regulations would these cells go under right now?
Previously, I was very interested in becoming a doctor, and that was a very big goal for me. But I realized that I'm more interested in the science behind medicine as opposed to the actual application of the medicine. Bioengineering is just such a huge field, and I feel that I'm more valuable as a person to the medical field as a bioengineer as opposed to a doctor.
So we're looking for precipitate?
Yeah.
Precipitated calcium?
Before I get on stage, I'm very nervous. I get the shaky legs. I'm worried if I'm stretched out enough. But then once I get on stage, it's just like, there's this very serene feeling. Despite the screaming crowd and the bright lights, it's almost like everything is calm. Like the only thing that matters is that dance. Very few moments in your life where you can just stop and focus on one thing, regardless of everything else around you.
Being able to share an experience, to battle on the court every day with people that are just not great just players, but also great students, and then also at the same time you're best friends because you spend most of the time, it's just a rewarding experience. Coach Tara Vanderveer is an amazing person and coach. She was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is the biggest honor for anybody in basketball.
One more.
She's really tough on us. She is sort of like our professor too. She constantly tests us, quizzes us, challenges us as a team to become better players and even better people.
Let's go, Jack!
Even though like rationality is based on everyone's individual perception. I really like international relations because Stanford has a great overseas and abroad program. You can basically go to any continent for a quarter. Probably about 90% of my family live in Nigeria.
But if you sort of, if you imagine the US would have fought a war with the Soviet Union.
My goal is to help broaden the sports development in Nigeria because basketball has no borders. It's just a game they play, but they don't understand that you're learning discipline, teamwork, hard work ethics as well. So just by bringing my passion to basketball and teaching people those type of work ethics and morals, I think we can really help the society in Nigeria advance.
He talks about how 25% of his employees would not be able to sustain the social justice work. I'm a first-generation low-income student, and I choose to identify in that manner. Not only has Stanford given me the financial aid, but it's also provided me with a community of like-minded students who come from the same socioeconomic status. You thought about the readings, and what were some of the emotions that it evoked? I was one of the 12 activists, including Desmond Tutu, whose accounts were hacked into as a result of the activism work I had been doing on the ground. Actually, my laptop was stolen, and it seemed to be a targeted attack. At that time, I was working on my Rhodes application, and this was my chance to go and apply to go to Oxford. I had no essay left. I had nothing to turn back to, and the time and clock was ticking. I talked to one of my professors, dear Professor Michelle Elam, and I said to her, I feel defeated. Should I still continue on and apply for the Rhodes Scholarship? And it was because of her unrelenting encouragement and her ability to nurture me that I applied. And I became the first Tibetan American to win the Rhodes just last week.
Yeah, so I was looking around trying to figure out where would be the most uncomfortable place to live on campus. Synergy is kind of like the hippie or alternative lifestyle house. One of my core principles is always seeking to expand my comfort zone. In my last birthday, I went to a steakhouse. This is a full vegetarian or vegan residence. It's actually transformed me a little bit. I'm now a pescatarian, so I'm trying that out.
There's just all these resources for you, and I think that's what just makes being at this college so unique. There's just funding for any project you need to do.
It's been amazing to see how a school like Stanford afforded me the opportunity to come and be the first one in my family to go to college and to do relatively well here. Through Stanford, I was able to go to El Salvador for 1 week and learn about liberation theology. And because of Stanford, I was able to go to South Africa for 3 months to study post-apartheid reconciliation. And at Stanford, I've been able to start a nonprofit with friends that's helped 300 kids get into college and 5 get into Stanford, the Phoenix Scholars Program. The financial aid's amazing. It's just a great place, and if you're really focused and deliberate, you can really do big things for someone not named yourself.